last week that they should be ready with the RAPEX bills so that we're able to pass the RAPEX bills. So once more, I want to welcome you from Independence, and for those who attended all the functions, I want to thank you so much, and we wish our country well. That's Kisteto. And we wish all the leaders of this country well at Kisteto, including yourselves, your leaders. You can't even clap for yourself. Thank you. Honorable members, have got a complaint from a number of women who have written to my office complaining on the issues of GROW. They are saying they are wondering whether GROW is to benefit the women in Kampala Road, or it is benefiting the women outside there. And the leaders are also saying they don't have the regulations. So they want you to share the regulations and then give us an account of who are the beneficiaries of the GROW. So I want to ask the minister to come to this house and give this house a report on GROW. Yes. Maybe before you, Honorable Avuru.
Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker, you are really spot on. And I want to commend you for being a good and listening leader to the women of this country. Right Honorable Speaker, I want to agree with you that from my own district, and not only from my own district, Pakwach, I've consulted a number of women leaders here. The GROW project is intended to benefit women entrepreneurs of all classes, those that who are already having businesses that are ongoing. But most of the women have complained that when they go to the banks that these funds have been directed to, they are being asked for collateral in the form of land, and not only land, but they are even going ahead and say that they must have building on that land. They must produce evidence that they own land. Other than that, some of them are being asked to take photos together with their husbands. We are wondering whether GROW is meant for only married, legally married women, and yet there are very many of women out there not married. Right Honorable Speaker, other than that, the women are saying the guidelines are not even there at the district. I tried to find out from the focal person in Pakwach district and the women leaders, and they are saying there are no guidelines. If the focal persons do not have guidelines, then where did the banks get these guidelines? We indeed need to have these guidelines applied to not only us leaders, but also to the focal persons in the districts. And indeed, like you have guided, we need an update report per district how the GROW project is being implemented. And where possible, we need to be retrained, because we don't know how to lead as leaders, how to, promote GROW in our different areas. I thank you, Right Honorable Speaker.
Thank you. Accountability for the monies that is being given out. Honorable Musenero. No, I'm sorry. That's not his name. Namanya.
Thank you so much, Madam Speaker. For clarity against, my name is Namanya Naboth.
Naboth Namanya.
It is as short as
NN.
that. Madam Speaker, thank you so much for raising that issue of GROW. I have personally interacted with several groups of women in my constituency. But the regulation and the requirements which women require to access funds from banks Really, when you read through, you see women cannot afford. First of all, they want collateral, as the honorary colleague has stated. But it's not only collateral. When you present collateral like women in Rukunjiri, they have agreements of land. But they have tossed them here and there. You bring a land, they say we need a title. You bring a title, they say we need a title which is searched, which is certified. A lot of issues, of which women in a local setting really cannot afford. So well, it's right that you need to get the minister to explain the gymnastics of this grow money. Other than that, this grow money that is intended to grow women, I think it will end up not growing anybody, assuming we don't intervene in time. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you. Milton, yes? It's a procedure matter.
Thank you, Right Honourable Speaker. Right Honourable Speaker, is it procedurally right that we have continued to debate when you already ruled that the minister would provide some statement here?
No, they are giving a supplementaries of what they want the minister to bring.
Okay.
They are making additions on what they want the minister to add on the report.
Okay, thank you, Right Honourable
Yes.
Speaker.
Yes.
Right Honourable Speaker.
You can also add from Kiboga.
Thank you, Thank you, Right Honourable Speaker. Right Honourable Speaker.
And please don't repeat what the other person has said.
Yes, Right Honourable Speaker. They go ahead to request that after having a collateral, you must have a living business, which living business must have been attended to for the last 1 year. And there must be documents certifying that somebody has been in that business. Now there are very many women who want to start off.
So you need to tell us whether you're giving money for working capital or for...
Yeah, and many women don't have records of anything they have been doing for the last 20 years. So we are wondering what they will show to actually prove that they have been in these businesses.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Nothing. Don't repeat
much.
Anything. Yes.
Thank you very much, Right Honourable Speaker. Right Honourable Speaker, 2 weeks ago, when members raised matters to do with the GROW project, the Minister of Finance here stood in on behalf of Minister of Gender and did commit both of them to come up with a comprehensive update and statement on the floor of Parliament. Madam Speaker, in line with that, I'm just seeking for your indulgence to be emphatic that since we don't have much time, tomorrow, like the presiding officer had stated last time, we dedicate some good time to discuss the GROW program, the GROW project. I thank you.
Honourable members, Kasese, you also had something? Then Judith, let's be brief. We have...
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. There is a challenge that I find in this country of ours. I don't know what the national ID is for. In other countries, all you need is your national identification or passport. Here, it's like we have reduced the national ID to, an electoral season. I mean, what would you want even to know what business I have, the trading license, if all I have is a national ID? How are we going to help our fellow citizens? All they have is the national ID. So where else can they go? And in any case, GROW, who is going to pay the GROW loan? It's the taxpayer that includes the person that all that she or he has, especially the women, is a national ID. And Madam Speaker, I want to relate that with this is examination season. And I can tell you, Madam Speaker, our fellow citizens, especially sons and daughters, are back in their homes because they can't afford paying tuition to zero balance. What kind of country are we trying to live or, we need to put in place a country that is big enough to accommodate everybody. Otherwise, we're going to have a country where it's only the children, sons and daughters of the rich that will go to school. In conclusion, Madam Speaker.
You're saying that students have been sent away and they're not doing exams?
They're not doing exams because they haven't paid to zero balance, Madam Speaker.
Members, no child should be sent away from school. All the children should be allowed to do exams, and they will pay their money when they are picking in the transcripts. You cannot chase away the students when they are doing exams. This is wrong.
You're the best in the world, Madam Speaker, and I hope school leaders out there have listened to the Speaker. This House has the constitutional mandate that if we resolve or pronounce ourselves on something through the leadership of this House, there's nobody under the sun that has capacity to reverse that decision. And I hope, Madam Speaker, that our fellow citizens, especially school leaders, can take that, Madam Speaker. In conclusion, as I see it, to reinforce that very point, we always talk about America. America accommodates everybody. If you're poor, you take your son and daughter to a poor school. And if you can't even afford uniform, there are schools in America, they will not ask anybody about a uniform if your father or your mother cannot. In the schools in America, as I take my seat.
Honorable, we've understood what we are saying, whether private schools or government schools, all the candidates must be allowed to do exams, and whoever goes against that should face the law. You cannot afford looking at paying school fees for your kid from P1 when he reaches S4 and is not able to pay school fees. I mean, to sit exams. I mean, some people may not have money at that time, but they will have money at a certain time and they will be able to pay.
Thank you so much, Madam Speaker, for their judgment and final verdict.
Joyce, Judith.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, on the same GROW program, GROW project is a response to so many multiple hindering factors to the women entrepreneurs. But not to repeat what my colleague had already said, Madam Speaker, the GROW project is not favoring the rural women who are sitting in the markets in the villages. Because when they go to the bank and they request for 5 million, I have my women who travel from Noya to Pakwach in a place called that big market to do trading there. And when they request for 5 million, they are sent back to again go and reduce the loan amount. And Madam Speaker, when they say they want requirements, the collaterals for the bank, I know the national ID is for identification whether you are a Ugandan or a resident of that particular place. But also when they ask for the cash flows, they want to see how you are operating. But if the GROW project, the aims were to respond or is to respond to multiple hindering factors, then we are not responding to hindering factors by asking the rural woman to go back and reduce the loan amount. Someone has requested for 1 million, you send the rural woman to go back and ask for 500,000.
Thank you. Honourable members, let's agree this way. Let's agree this way. Let's get a report on Thursday on this floor. Let's get a report on who are the beneficiaries of GROW, what is the minimum and maximum, what are the requirements, what are the regulations saying, and where have you covered so far, how much money were you given for GROW, how much have you spent, and sources of funding, and who are the focal persons on the ground that we can be able to follow with this GROW. And lastly, as leaders of the people, how do we get information on the grow?
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker, I'm happy to listen to the feedback from members and colleagues in Parliament about GLOW, which was launched about 2 years ago. And the Right Honorable Speaker, like you have rightly put it, it's a concern in the general public. And the Cabinet, 2 weeks ago, requested us to bring a progressive report. Today, Cabinet is discussing that progressive report. But what we have raised here is going to enrich the progressive report, because some of the things that you have raised were not part of the report as far as I had read it before. So, Right Honorable Speaker, we shall abide by the decision, by your guidance on Thursday, to bring a comprehensive report about the issues raised.
Thank you. Next.
Item 3, Bills first reading, 3.1, the Assets of Departed Asians Amendment Bill 2024.
Honorable members, Lob has something.
Okay. Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. I was coming to consult with you first because I wanted to raise something in the presence of government.
Okay.
Government seems to be absent. However, I think I can still do raise it, so it's on record. Government is here. Honorable Speaker, I am guided by the colleague here that government is here. I hope she will have answers to my issues now that you've decided to carry the cross. Right Honorable Speaker, because it's a different docket, but it's okay. Right Honorable Speaker, our duty, and even though the Constitution and the Administration of Parliament Act says the duty of the leader of the opposition is to keep the government in check, incidentally, that duty is for all of us in this house. All of us. That's why we are here. But as we do keep carrying out this oversight activity, there's many things that we discover. I, together with colleagues, were in Amuru last week, went to Atiak Sugar Factory, and I'll be sharing some of those findings in the coming days. We connected with them, raised concerns, because government has so far given about 723 billion.
Can I make a request?
Yes.
Lob, can I make a request that you raise that when the Prime Minister is in and the Minister of Finance?
That's what I was saying. I will, in the coming days, when there's a lot more presence. The one I wanted to raise was specifically about today, and you will hope to guide. Honorable Speaker, I went with colleagues after I wrote on 8th October to the management of Rocco Construction Company Limited that will go and interface with them, because so far government has given them 263.3 billion shillings. And there's been numerous concerns. I'm sure some of the members here have been called by staff. They've not been paid for 4 months. There's different projects, including our chambers, that is not being attended to. But on going there to carry out our oversight function, we found a letter at the gate written back to me saying that the board has denied us as members of parliament access to the premises of Rocco Construction Company. This is a private company, yes, but it has been given taxpayers' money. In fact, on the day the first batch was passed in July of 2022, even the majority report of the committee had several concerns. I remember that report was read by the Honorable K. Fachiwanuka. And both the majority and the minority report were saying, can we first do due diligence before we give this company money? Anyhow, it passed very quickly. We don't know what's happening. Projects have stalled. Staff are complaining they're not being paid. we went to interface and interact with management as we have elsewhere, except for the Boa Hospital, which also denied us access. But the others, they do allow us access, we interact with them. And so I got confused because I know not very long the Minister of Finance will be back here in Parliament asking for more money for ROCO. But the company does not want to account. It is not paying staff. I wanted that we put government on notice, first of all, that as I know they are planning to come for more money, can they first account for what we have given to them? And if the company does not want to account for taxpayers' money, then return what has been given to you. We shall not bother you if you're using private resources, but if you're using taxpayer money, it's important that it is accounted for. I don't know what your guidance will be, Right Honourable Speaker, because the front bench, but our honourable colleague said she represents government.
Government.
Right Honourable Speaker, I thank LOP for the concern raised. Like you earlier stated, it's unusual for us to sit in the Parliament on Mondays, and today we are holding Cabinet. Right Honourable Speaker, this matter will be referred to the Prime Minister, and I'm here to take notes for issues that will rise that government is going to respond to, so that I put them to their attention. Right Honourable Speaker.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Yes, Mehdi.
Thank you, Right Honourable Speaker.
Honourable members, as I told you, while we are sitting today, we must finish the work by Friday, so that we give Iyala to sit here for 21 days.
Thank you, Right Honourable Speaker, for the opportunity. Right Honourable Speaker, while interacting with a few Ugandans in the diaspora,
I see people are fearing to go to the village. Yes.
Right Honourable Speaker, while interacting with a few Ugandans in the diaspora, it came to my knowledge, Right Honourable Speaker, that there are some Ugandans, just like other Africans, that are stuck in the Middle East, mainly in Lebanon, at the moment, where they are engulfed in the war between Israel and Lebanon. As you are aware, and as everyone has been witnessing, many Ugandans who conduct duties as house assistants in the Middle East are sponsored by individuals that own homes in those areas, which partly some of those homes are under severe bombardment at the moment. So just like other African migrant laborers, Ugandans need immediately what we would call foreign service assistance to either be repatriated back home or to find a safe haven at the moment. Secondly, others that offer these services have reported that in various countries where they work, most that fall sick are not given medical attention because they neither have insurances or some of their employers are disinterested in taking them to various hospitals rather than being given painkillers and paracetamol. At the end of the day, most of them come back in dire shape, and some of them end up probably dying from those areas. Right Honourable Speaker, they want to hear the voice of the ministry in charge of gender and labor, and the reason is that when they refer to the companies that took them there, there is no answers rather than pure coercion to tell them that, listen, our role was to get you there, we have no responsibility beyond that. It's appalling. These are our young children, they are part of Uganda, and we owe them a duty of care. Thank you.
Thank you, Honourable Minister. Yes.
Thank you, Right Honourable Speaker. Maybe before the Minister comes, I want to thank Honourable Sereko for raising the matter. But on this note, I think you could have read it in the last 1 or 2 weeks ago. I think our ambassador to Malaysia, Honorable Betty Bigombe, is doing wonders because she was able to rescue people who were deceived from Uganda and taken to Myanmar under the rebels. So if all other ambassadors, those responsible missions, can work with that type of heart, I think a lot could be achieved. And she was still mentioned in that interview with the Monitor that there are still some people who are still in the captivity under the rebels in Myanmar. So maybe the minister could also add on her clarification on this matter. How many do we still have in captivity of the rebels? Because they were lured to Malaysia, to Thailand, that they're going to do work, but in the end they ended up in the rebel activities.
Yes.
Thank you, Right Honourable Speaker. Madam Speaker, on issues of externalization of labor, we have done a lot of reforms of late. And we have some M-zone offices where people can report to, especially those in destitute. Right Honourable Speaker, but a number of people had gone to these countries before these reforms came. And there are also many companies that have been faulting the regulations. A number of them have been disqualified, and we have had to cancel some of those companies' licenses. Right Honourable Speaker, for an elaborate report, a comprehensive report, the Minister of State responsible for labor will soon come and present the new regulations and reforms and guidelines so that we can be able to direct or guide our people better. Right Honourable Speaker, on the issue Honourable Nseko raised, I think that is the issue Honourable Nseko raised. On the issue that my brother raised, I think the Prime Minister would talk about the issue concerning the young people who are in the rebel activities and all that. That goes beyond my ministry and docket. And I think the Right Honourable Prime Minister will address that matter when she comes. She's more updated on the developments in Malaysia.
Thank you. Remember, she told you she's taking notes for onward transmission. Let's go to the next item first.
Item 3, Bills first reading, 3.1, the Assets of Departed Asians Amendment Bill 2024.
Honourable members, you recall that on 24th September 2024, the executive tabled the RAPEX bill for the first reading. The House, however, stood over the tabling of the bill due to concerns that were raised by Honourable Biakatonda Nuru Abdul, the Workers' MP, and that was about the issue of the case that was in court that would amount to sub judice. However, the Attorney General wrote to us saying that will not stop the bill from going for the first reading. It could allow the bill to go for the first reading. And we were in possession of that letter. Honourable members, in the bill that is being tabled, we expected a full inventory of all the assets and liabilities as a schedule, so that we know what we are transferring and how we are transferring. This should have been included herein. It is very fortunate that me and Elop, we have ever been leaders of COSASE. We know what is in Asian Custodian Departed Board. Lob will tell you of head, and I will also tell you what is in that place. So I think it would be prudent enough for the minister to relay this information to the Minister of Finance, that as they bring this bill for the first reading, would they give us a list of assets, of inventory that is supposed to be taken over. Yes. And on the same note, when the minister was asked, the minister said he needed 1 year to get the list of those assets. But since it is RAPEX cannot wait, we need a list of the of inventory. Yes.
Madam Speaker, thank you for your insight in this matter. You are aware the issue in question is not just the inventory of the assets. There is also what somebody is already alluding to, the audit, a comprehensive audit. Why?
A forensic
we have
audit.
information that Idi Amin compensated a number of these properties.
President
and
Idi
these
Amin.
properties,
President
His
Idi
Excellency Idi Amin, the late Idi Amin, compensated a number of the departed Asian properties, and those properties he compensated are getting to be repossessed. Then we are asking, under what circumstance is that happening? There were properties that were mortgaged in banks, and Uganda government redeemed those properties from the bank, and those properties are again being repossessed. In a submission of the Attorney General then, Honorable Bahati Katureba, he guided that the Ministry of Finance, which is responsible, is now seeking mandate, should go into prosecuting people. That has not happened, and they have not reclaimed those properties. Madam Speaker, we have the property register provided in the law. The county would want to know what is in the register. That is section 2. In the same law, we also have the Assets of Departed Asians Act. In section 13, Madam Speaker, there was also establishment of a special fund. We don't know what is in that fund. These people have been selling properties. Where are the resources? They have been renting. Where is the rent to income? Where are the accounts of this body? Why do they want to dissolve this body without accounting for the properties? This body is supposed to invest.
Richard, there's a procedure from Richard.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. I'm raising on a matter of procedure, because on the order paper we are receiving the bill is being read for the first time. It's not yet even read. I see my colleague, the Honorable Lee, debating and giving a lot of information in regard to the bill that is not yet presented and read for the first time. I need your indulgence and guidance whether we are proceeding well for a colleague to debate a bill that is non-existent at the time, at the present.
Actually, Honorable Lee should take the information to the Minister of Finance and help them. That information that you're giving should help them. But I have already made a ruling that we cannot have this read for the first time because of that, because of what I've already mentioned. Next item.
Item 3.2.
Yes. Solo.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. I rise on a point of procedure. There is a public outcry about the recently concluded census.
How is it coming in?
No. Let me go ahead, Madam Speaker.
Is it a procedure on what is happening? That is something you should have come earlier to bring it up. Before. The procedure that you should raise should be a procedure on what is happening, what we are discussing now.
I agree, Madam Speaker.
Next item.
Item 3.2.
Yes. Procedure.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker, the procedure issue I'm raising is from your statement where you have guided that some missing gaps from the bill would hamper it from being presented. But also you mentioned something very cardinal about the Attorney General's letter. Because the Attorney General I don't know whether he's the one supposed to waive a bill to
determine sub judice.
To determine sub judice. Because we are House of Record, and Madam Speaker, we have other bills that have been stopped because of sub judice rule. Would it be really, I need your guidance. How should we refer to the Attorney General or for, because Madam Speaker, the rules give you the whole mandate to determine the sub judice, whether something is sub judice or not. Thank you.
Thank you so much. You know, in this country and in all the books of law, the law only allows the speaker to determine what is sub judice. That's why I never allowed it to stop. It is only the speaker who determines what is sub judice. Next item. Yes. Yes, Morris.
Thank you.
Morris, before you finish, in the public gallery this afternoon we have pupils and teachers from Green Valley Nursery and Primary School from Katikamu North, Luero District. You're most welcome. Assalamu alaikum. You're most welcome. They are represented by Honorable Dennis Sekabira. Where is Dennis? Dennis is just out there having lunch. And then Honorable Brenda. Honorable Brenda is in a meeting assigned by Lob. Thank you so much for coming. And they are good leaders. Bring them back.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker, you are doing a lot of work for these ministers. Right Honorable Speaker, these bills were there before. We had to ask them to do thorough work before bringing them back. Right Honorable Speaker, a minister brings a bill which is not even a quarter away the material we expect, and they put you to task to begin training them and putting them in the right place. Here, when some members of parliament are doing something which is not right, they say the training was not right. Maybe, Right Honorable Speaker, you ask through the president to have some of these ministers trained on what they are supposed to do better, so that at a given time, we don't waste a lot of time. You bring a bill which doesn't reflect what we expect out of you. Tomorrow another minister is bringing, another one is bringing the same story year in, year out. It's becoming too much, Right Honorable Speaker, as you guide them and tell them the right thing. Maybe through your office, Right Honorable Speaker, do some induction for these ministers so that by the time they bring back some other material, we see some work that reflect them as ministers. Thank you.
Thank you. Morris, to the best of my knowledge, we have very competent ministers. It's just that they are not here, but we all learn on job. We'll all learn on job. Next item.
Item 3.2, Bills First Reading, the Sexual Offences Bill 2024.
Honorable members, the right of a member to initiate a private member's bill is enshrined in Article 94.4b of the Constitution of Republic of Uganda, 1995, and is operationalized by Rule 121 of the Rules of Procedure of Parliament. For this particular bill, a certificate of financial implication was issued by the Minister of Finance, Planning and Economic Development. This certificate indicated that some of the proposed measures therein are already implemented by relevant government agencies that proceeding with the bill will lead to wastage of public resources. In addition, the certificate indicated that the proposal in the bill have a financial implication, which will be accommodated within the medium-term expenditure framework of the implementing agencies such as Uganda Police Forces, Uganda Prison Services, the Office of Directorate of Public Prosecution, and the Courts of Law. In light of the consideration, the Attorney General did not indicate the particular laws that he was saying were being duplicated. They did not tell us how much amount was involved in terms of financial implication, and I would request that the House allows this member to introduce the bill for first reading, and then it will be interrogated in the committee so that we know which bills are being duplicated. I now call Honorable Anne Ebajo.
Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker, for your wise guidance. Right Honorable Speaker and Honorable Members, on the 23rd of May, 2023, this Parliament granted me leave to introduce the private member's bill entitled the Sexual Offences Bill. Right Honorable Speaker and Honorable Members, this bill's main object is to consolidate all sexual offences into one piece of legislation. And Right Honorable Speaker, on this subject matter, I have carried out numerous consultations and thereby today beg to lay the Sexual Offences Bill accompanied by a certificate of financial implications as is required under Section 76 of the Public Finance Management Act. Right Honorable Speaker, I beg to lay a bill for an act entitled the Sexual Offences Act 2024, accompanied by a certificate of financial implication. I beg to lay.
Thank you. In furtherance to Rule 1291 of the Rules of Procedure, the bill stands. It is signed. I have the signed bill. The bill stands referred to the Committee of Legal and Parliamentary Affairs and the Committee of Gender, Labor and Social Development. But the legal will take a lead and report back to the House within the 45 days.
Most obliged.
Thank you.
Item 4. Item 5, laying of papers, the Inspectorate of Government Biennial Performance Reports for the period July to December 2023 and January to June 2024.
Members, Article 231(1) of the Constitution of the Republic of Uganda requires the IGG to submit to Parliament at least once in 6 months a report of performance of its function, making such recommendations, and it's considered necessary containing such information in Parliament may require. In furtherance to this constitutional provision, I received 2 biannual reports from IGG on 3rd October 2024, and today the reports will formally be laid on table. I now invite the Parliamentary Commissioner to table the report on the floor. Yes.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I want to thank IGG for complying with the law. Madam Speaker, last week I raised an issue in relation to compliance of MDAs and also Parliament of Uganda in bringing to this House annual reports. Section 50 of the Administration of Parliament Act requires that the parliamentary commission shall bring to this House an annual report detailing activities of the House. So is also other MDAs. Now that IGG is complying and the commission is in the process of laying this, when do we expect the annual report of the Parliamentary Commission on Activities of Parliament, so that you also in compliance with the law?
The Parliamentary Commission has always complied and laid the reports on table. Please, Commissioner Lay.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I beg to lay the Inspectorate of Government biannual performance report to Parliament for a period July to December 2023. I beg to lay.
Please lay. Honourable members, the report is referred to the Sectoral Committee of Legal and Parliamentary Affairs for further scrutiny and consideration.
Thank you. Madam Speaker, I beg to lay the Inspectorate of Government biannual performance report to Parliament for the period January to June 2024. I beg to lay.
Refer to the Committee of Legal and Parliamentary.
Item 6, motion for adoption of the report of the Public Accounts Committee, Commissions, Statutory Authorities and State Enterprises on the report of the Auditor General on the financial statements of Uganda Posta Limited for the financial year ended 30th June 2023.
Honourable members, the report of Posta Uganda Limited is going to be presented by the Chair of COSASE. I now want to invite the Vice Chair, Park COSASE, to present the report. Yes.
Thank you, Right Honourable Speaker. Right Honourable Speaker, if we see the way things are moving, there are days when you'll call a house on Monday. But through your office, we wish to know, because originally we had information that all state ministers don't attend cabinet. There are ministries that have three ministers, others more than 3. We need maybe to know through your office whether if the sitting is for Monday, we take it that all ministers, including state ministers that don't attend the cabinet, daily will also be absent. Thank you.
Yes, Honourable, please.
Right Honourable Speaker, I'm here to inform the House that the Ministers of State do attend cabinet. Today I did not attend cabinet because there was a Swahili Council on the order paper, and my colleagues did attend, so I am well represented, but I had to be here. Thank you.
I thought what Honourable Morris was asking, that how come that all ministers, including the state ministers, are absent, and yet some of them would be here.
Right Honourable Speaker, I rose to address that matter that all ministers and ministers of state do attend cabinet. That's why they are not here. All of them are in cabinet today. I excused myself because I knew there was a unusual parliament on Monday, and there was something on the order paper, because it's not quite usual. Usually we sit on Tuesday to Thursday in parliament. But today, since there was a reflection of a bill that we funded or that we are supporting, I came to ensure that we don't miss out.
Let's after we shall need a treasury memoranda. Chair.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, for the opportunity. Madam Speaker, under Rule 219, I beg to lay the minutes attached to the report. I beg to lay.
Please lay.
Madam Speaker, I also beg to lay the copy of the report. Report of the Public Accounts Committee on commissions, statutory authorities, and state enterprises, on the report of